Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the night crew. Glad you're here with us tonight. We have some hot topics to discuss, and it's me and Kim Wardell tonight. We are here, just the two of us, and all you millions of people watching, and so we'll do that. Hello, Kim.
Hello, Steve. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Well, we got some crazy things going on in the news here lately, so let's
We
get
sure
into
do.
that. First one here, an Israeli mother pleads for help. It's a sad story. She said, I want you to know they're just normal teenagers. They just love what normal teenagers love. They fight constantly between them. They can drive me mad, and I love them to bits, and I miss them, and I want them home. Where they should be, in their beds. This is where children should be, in their home, in their beds, living their lives. And I'm asking every mother in the world to think of her children and help me make the effort to release those people and my children. These are the words of a mother whose two sons, aged 12 and 16, were taken from their home by Hamas terrorists and are now being held hostage in Gaza after Saturday's attack on Israel. It's just one heartbreaking story about many thousands from the greatest slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust. My heart goes out to these families, the mothers and the dads, and especially the people that are taken hostage. They don't know if they're going to be come out alive or not. So it's got to be really, really tragic and terrifying for all of them involved. So it's going to have to keep praying for them, I suppose, huh?
We have to. We have to pray for them. We have to pray for Israel.
Yeah,
We just have to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's terrible. We see several mothers like this on the news. Some of their kids, family members, whatever. They go missing. And do you remember the music festival? I think it was a couple of hundred taken or killed, whatever, from there, and that was just crazy.
Well, they were slaughtered, really, Steve, is what they were. They were slaughtered. They were hacked. They were, we don't, most people have probably seen something about this on the news.
Yeah,
They're not hiding a lot of news from us. Like they used to just give us certain details. And now it seems like because people are so desensitized, they have to give us more information than we really, I don't want to say that we need to know because we need to know, but what they're doing in the middle of the streets to some of these women and girls, mass raping, mass gang raping, slaughtering, taking children out of the bellies of moms. This isn't just us saying this. This is on TV. They film it.
yeah,
They film it. Some of the people around are filming, some of the hostage takers. We've seen it. We've seen the interviews with the parents, like this mother here. They're having interviews on TV since Saturday, really looking for their loved ones. And some of their loved ones are on the phone with their parents or spouses or whomever when the Hamas break into their homes and start attacking them. And some of them are filming that.
yeah,
It's brutal.
yeah.
It's brutal.
Do you think it's worse for mothers like yourself than it would be for somebody like me that doesn't have kids? I imagine it is a lot worse. Worried about that.
Well, I think a humanitarian aspect, it's as humans,
Yeah,
it's terrible for anybody if
yeah,
you're human. But I think it's, I don't want to say, but yes, in my opinion, I think it's worse for mothers.
yeah. So
We're connected, physically connected.
yeah,
Yeah, I do think it's worse for mothers, but it's dads, grandmas, every siblings. They all have hearts.
yeah.
We're human. We have,
Your heart goes out to them no matter who you are. Yeah,
yeah. And I hope that your heart goes out to them. I hope we can't sit back and be callous about this. This isn't, just because it's overseas and it's far from us.
But I have seen some things on TV where some people in Palestine and other areas are celebrating that.
Yes.
So glad that Israel was attacked,
Yes.
and there's always going to be people on both sides. And the sad part is like the people who live in Gaza. Most of them are just regular people.
Yes.
The Hamas is the government there. They run the
Yeah.
country if it's caught building the country, but that's their law, and they're just innocent people too, most of them.
Yeah, the people in Gaza and places like that, I mean, they're living a horrible life too. They're living in horror as well,
Yeah.
But it's not just over there in Iran and stuff that they're celebrating. The United States of America, all over America,
Yeah.
you're seeing them on TV celebrating.
Yeah.
And we were speaking about this earlier. That's something that's really ticked me off. I can't even explain it. It's deep in my heart, ticking me off. We have pictures of, I think it was a group, the TV showed that they were all from Pakistan. And then there was some from Iran, these groups out in the city streets in New York City and all over the country, putting the Israeli and the American flag down side by side and burning them.
Oh.
And cheering, and little kids from, babies in their mother's arms and 2-year-olds all the way up to like seniors and learning this. And I'm watching them celebrate and burning both flags. And I'm thinking, well, I wasn't thinking it. I said it out loud. You came to America. I mean, I don't even live in America, and it's ticking me off. You came to a place to have a better life. All of the resources that America can offer, you've been given. Here you go. And you have the audacity to burn the American flag on American soil, on film, on camera, and celebrating. You need to go. You need to be deported right now. Go back to wherever it is you came from. How dare you celebrate on the very soil of the flag you're burning?
And there are some here in the United States, born and raised here and lived here all their life, that will burn the flag also. And a lot of them say, well, this is not my government, burn it all down.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's true, but it's a different, for me, maybe not. Maybe that's a discussion and a debate to have. For me, it's different if you've come to this country, like if it's Canada or United States, if you came to another country willingly for the resources for a better life.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like saying, well, if it was so great over there, why did you leave? That's what you want to say.
It's bad enough when you have your own people doing these things, but when you have people that willingly come over to take advantage of all the resources,
yeah.
Nope. And just to get back to this story here, I don't want to digress too much. Yes, we need to pray for them. Not only do we need to pray for Israel, we also need to pray for Hamas and Iran to just stop this evil, and for the citizens, the innocent citizens in those countries as well.
Yeah. And of course, we know there's really never been peace in the Mideast. It's always been a hot mess.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got here? The next one. Don't know if you heard about this case or not. This is about Cop City in Atlanta. That's what they're calling it. It says none of the police will face criminal prosecution. Now, this guy here was shot and killed by the police. He was shot, I think, 57 times. On Friday, nearly 9 months after Manuel Esteban Paez Tortuguita Tehran was fatally shot by police in a hail of gunfire, Mountain Judicial Circuit District Attorney George Christian announced that none of the police would face criminal prosecution. Tehran was shot and killed while encamped in the South River Forest outside of Atlanta, Georgia, protesting the construction of Cop City, a $90 million militarized police training complex. The report issued on Friday reeks of a cover-up. In a statement by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation accompanying the report, the GBI reveals that because of pending criminal investigations into other Cop City protesters, any Open Record Act request for additional information to be publicly released, including video and photographic evidence, will be denied until such time as the above investigation and prosecution is not pending. Given the fact that there are over 60 cases pending, this means additional evidence could remain hidden from the public for years. Now this story is Cop City. It's a big, like a big training center they're wanting to build, and the fact that it costs $90 million should tell you a lot. And they're going to basically train the police to be more militarized than they are already. And it's also, I read somewhere else today that they're going to also be training some Israeli soldiers over there. That surprised me. And evidently that's what's been planned all along. But a lot of people think that, first of all, they're cutting down the forest in that area to build this Cop City, and also they're against the fact that they are just militarizing the police even more. So it's been a very controversial thing right from the start. So it's a mess. So have you heard anything about this, Kim?
Yeah, a little bit. I did a little bit of reading up on this thing. I don't understand a few things about it, but one thing you said, they're training the Israel. That's nothing new. Americans have been doing that for decades, like training their allies. That's nothing new. Sometimes they'll go over to their land, and sometimes they bring them to North America. That's nothing new that doesn't surprise me at all. They do that with their direct allies. But
Yeah.
The thing with this that, it's interesting to me is, so the police are saying they were doing it in self-defense or protecting themselves because the protesters started shooting. However, the interesting the interesting tidbit to this case is, because they're saying no police are going to be charged whatsoever, but people are asking because all of the patrol troopers had, footage, body cams, I guess they call them. They had body cams on, and the police were saying they were just returning fire. So when asked for the footage of the body cams, there is none.
Yeah.
There is no footage. Some of them are saying, well, they were too far away to get the footage. So it's a bit suspicious to me.
Yeah.
It's a bit suspicious. This boy was murdered. He was an activist. By no means is there any evidence. We don't know, but they say he was assassinated. There's no evidence to say that he was, a violent activist. He was anything, that there was anything out of the normal. He was a climate activist protecting this land so that they didn't tear down the 85 acres, I think it was, or something like that. So it's a bit suspicious to me. It's where's the body cam footage? You said he was shot how many times?
57 times.
Oh, I never saw that part. That's a bit extreme, don't you think?
Yeah.
Do they not, if we're training Israeli soldiers and other soldiers from around the world, do you not think that those troopers, those police can be trained not to have to shoot 87 times to kill one human being?
Yeah, it's definitely overkill, huh?
Aren't they trained to shoot them in the leg and take them down or something?
Well, supposedly in this case, the guy was in a tent and they couldn't even see him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really, really suspicious. And, they're kind of putting a gag order almost. It's not a gag order, but everybody's being silenced basically. And they're calling it domestic terrorism.
Yeah, it's really just the opposite. He was trying to save the forest.
Right. The police are calling it domestic terrorism by occupying a treehouse. It's so ridiculous.
That was used to me. I see somebody sitting in a tree, I thought, oh, run,
It's almost comical, but it's not, because somebody lost their life.
Yeah, I know.
But it's domestic terrorism because he was occupying a treehouse.
Yeah.
This world is, like I said, I think last time that I was on your show, it's becoming comical. It's not funny, but it's becoming comical because it's like watching a cartoon unfold before our eyes. It can't be real, but it's real.
Yeah.
It's, I just feel sorry for the family for this young man.
Yeah. Say hello to Forensic PI. Says, that's right, Kim and Steve, you all rock. All right. Hello, Forensic PI.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Forensic PI.
All right. Let's see what's next here. Here we go. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has spent the past 3 decades threatening Iran. So some people are concerned he's going to take advantage of this situation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has spent the past 3 decades sounding the alarm about Iran's nuclear program and threatening to attack the country on countless occasions. Most recently, in September, he said in a speech to the United Nations General Assembly that Tehran must face a credible nuclear threat before his office corrected the record to credible military threat. After Hamas's attack on October 7, Netanyahu may finally be able to act on his threats. The gruesome scenes in southern Israel have provided the Israeli Prime Minister with the necessary pretext and international backing for a wider response. Netanyahu was both a political and personal stake in all of this. A drawn-out regional conflict would block or at least postpone any official accountability for his utter failure to prevent Hamas's attack from happening in the first place, and could also put his multiple indictments on corruption charges on an indefinite hold. Well, it's true that Netanyahu has had it in for Iran for a long time, but that's mutual. Iran has had it in for Netanyahu and the Israelis for a long time. And Netanyahu does have some corruption issues, apparently, that have never been resolved. So could this be a way for him to cover some of that up? I don't know. But more will be revealed on this, I suppose. I don't know. And it's not going to be pretty anyway. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in this whole situation, and a lot of it's already gone wrong. So what do you think about that one, Kim?
Well, okay. Yes, political and personal stake. Of course, he's a politician. Okay. Politicians. There's always something, his accountability, his failure to, we'll get into that for a second, but his corruption charges, his indictments. Okay. I'm not forgiving any, I don't even know about most of that stuff. I know that there's allegations, so I'm sure some of it's true because it's a politician. Here's my stance on that though. He's had it in, can you just go up to the top for a second?
Yeah.
On that, maybe it's giving him some pretense or something to go, listen, he spent the last 3 decades sounding the alarm and threatening Iran. Are we forgetting that these countries around Israel, since the beginning of time, have been threatening to demolish and annihilate and genocide? And they've tried over and over and over again. In our lifetime, we remember World War I and World War II, but it's happened before our lifetime for centuries. Yeah. For the millennia, it's been happening. So I can't really stand behind this article too much. This article to me seems like it's a bit biased against Benjamin Netanyahu, if that's how you pronounce his name, I'm sure he's got some, shifty stuff. He's a politician. They all do. But the nation of Iran and many others have made it very, very clear since I could ever remember hearing about these countries that they want to annihilate the Jews. So, to me, if somebody my entire life is threatening to take me and my family out, I'm going to be on the defense.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the defense to take you out. So, I just find this article a little bit, I don't know,
Yeah. But then again, it's hard to find an unbiased article anymore.
Well, it is, but that's where we have to use our own intellect and our own understanding and our own knowledge and our own history. We have to read. We have to do our own studying and our own research, right? You can't just go surface because things like this are much deeper than surface.
Yeah.
This is, where not just one or two people are getting killed in the streets of New York. These is entire nations who have been threatened to be annihilated and killed, So for me, past 3 decades sound, threatening to take them out. Good. He has a reason to threaten to take them out. And I'm not saying violence is the answer, folks. Don't send me hate mail. I'm just saying, is he finally able to act on his threats? I truly don't like that line at all. Because is he finally able to act on his threats? They were attacked. Let's not forget.
No.
And let's not forget what's happening in their streets. So right now, I don't think that Benjamin Netanyahu, forgive me again if I say it wrong, is actually thinking in his head, aha, finally I get to. No, I'm pretty confident he's concerned about his people.
Yeah.
And he's angry and he wants to take them out.
Yeah, it's kind of, but this, like you say, something's been going on for centuries. It's just kind of the way it is over there, They're always at war.
Unfortunately. But as we know, if Israel is at peace, the world's at peace. If Israel is at war, the world's at war. It's just the way it is.
Well, let's hope and pray there's something good going to come out of it. It's hard to see it now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here we go. Here's an interesting story. Huge increase in homicides in Washington, D.C. In Washington, D.C., there has been a worrying increase in homicides, with more than 200 recorded before October. This is the highest number in the past 25 years. Among the victims were a 10-year-old child, a 16-year-old teenager, and an Afghan interpreter who had sought refuge in the United States. Most of these killings have taken place in poorer neighborhoods, mainly populated by Black residents. There are different opinions on the causes of this alarming trend. Some suggest that lenient criminal justice policies and the lack of sufficient policing are contributing factors, while others propose increasing police presence and even deploying the National Guard. This situation sheds light on the long-standing challenges of racial inequality and violence in the country. Yeah, Washington, D.C., it's a big city and they got, a lot of different people. And a lot of them just kind of don't get along. But it is interesting that there's so much more on the increase. It does seem strange. It's getting so much worse than it was. The highest number in the past 25 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been to Washington, D.C., but when I was there, there were cops everywhere. I mean, you could not walk 10 minutes without seeing a police officer. I mean, they were everywhere. But of course, there's a lot of federal buildings in Washington DC and a lot of federal workers. So, I'm sure that's necessary. But what surprised me is all of them were so friendly. I mean, was not used to seeing police officers so friendly as they were up there. I mean, they go out of their way to be helpful and polite, and it just blew my mind. But yeah, they were plentiful. You couldn't go in hardly anywhere without seeing a lot of police officers. So, so it's hard to believe that there could be that many killings. But then again, the killings are happening out in the suburbs, in the housing projects mostly, and places where the police don't go or don't go very often.
Which is strange because if that's where all the killings are happening, don't you think the police should be going there?
It should be.
And I did read that they have, and it's the same problem we're having here. I don't know if it's all over the country in the US, but they are having a shortage of police officers because they've defunded all of the police, they're defunding them. So there's less police officers. But, one thing they're saying, the officials, DC officials, are blaming it on the upswing in violent crimes, on continuous flow of illegal drugs, diminished police forces. But one thing they said, which, ticks me off all the time because people are still using COVID as an excuse, but the effects of COVID-19 disruptions, that's some of the reasons for the upswing in violence. Let's think about this for a second. Influx of illegal arms being brought into the country, less police officers, diminished police force is what they're saying, and disruptions from COVID. That seems like policy. That seems like higher up. If there's that much of an increase on murders and killings and thefts and robberies and all kinds of violence happening, most of those reasons that they're giving us are controlled by the higher ups. They're not doing their jobs.
Yeah.
They're not doing their jobs.
It seems to be a pattern, at least in the United States, where the poorer communities and the Black communities don't really get all that much attention from the city. They spend their time and their money helping the upper echelon, and where the most richest people live, and the suburbs, the slums, and the ghettos. I don't care.
Now it's exactly what you're saying. They don't pay much attention. If that's where the problems are happening, then that's where the attention needs to be.
Yeah.
Get them some resources. It's almost like this systemic problem. It's like there's 2 points here, like let them take care of themselves almost, but then it's brother killing brother. Do you know what I mean? It's like, stop killing your own. Stop.
I think it's a lot of, kind of like both of us said in South Africa a few years ago, give them all guns and let them kill each other. I think there's a lot of that goes on. They think, well, the poor neighborhoods, that's the ghettos, and that's where the crime is, and that's where the gangbangers are and all of that. Let's let them kill each other off, and who cares? I think there's a lot of that mentality.
I think so too, and it's disgusting because I'm not saying it's easy. That's not the word I want to use. It's not easy. I'm glad I'm not a decision maker in most of these places, but if this is where it's happening and the jails in the US are just overrun with criminals, like they're just being packed in like sardines, people are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Like people make $200,000, $300,000 a year, $400,000 a year, these big corporate. And where's all the money? Spend the money on figuring out solutions to the problems. Don't keep adding to the problems. Figure out solutions. You know what? I'm going to say it. It's not that hard. Stop allowing all these people to come into the country without proper vetting. Stop defunking your police forces. Send them out where they're supposed to be. You said you couldn't turn your head anywhere and all you saw was police officers, but I bet you if you went to these ghetto places, you wouldn't see any.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I don't know.
So
It's-
do you have any kind of a border problem in Canada?
Not like you guys have, but we have been the last couple of years only. Like the last couple of years, we've had an influx of immigrants, and the government brings them in and then just kind of leaves them. And, we have no resources for them,
Yeah.
So not like you guys though.
Yeah.
Not like you guys. It is getting worse.
Come over to Canada without any problem and vice versa.
Sorry.
Can Canadians and Americans cross the border, easily, or is that
Very easily. Very, very, very easy.
kind of passport or anything and you just go, right?
You don't even need a passport if you're driving. If you're flying, you do. But if you're driving, you don't even need a passport.
That's interesting. All righty.
But just to answer one more question, you said, is Canada like that? We are having an influx of illegal arms in the last couple of years, especially in Toronto, the largest city in the country. Yeah, we're having a lot more violence and shootings. It's just getting worse and worse. And a lot of like guns that even military people really have no business with unless they're out in war, So we're having a huge influx.
That can never be good.
Nope.
Okay, here we go. Extremist Republicans turned on McCarthy, causing his downfall. Okay, whoa. Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, faced a crisis within his own party that led to his removal from leadership. He had been trying to accommodate extremist Republicans for months, but they turned against him. McCarthy faced challenges in becoming Speaker and relied on Trump's supporters to secure his position. However, the Republican Party proved to be unmanageable and ungovernable. McCarthy's downfall came when he reached a deal to avert a government shutdown, which angered the far-right faction. They initiated a vote of no confidence, making McCarthy the first speaker to be removed from office. The political environment in the United States, influenced by Brexit and the election of Trump, contributed to McCarthy's downfall. McCarthy's concessions to the far right, including cutting support for Ukraine, were not enough to appease them. Now, we just keep talking about this every day on the news about different takes on this situation. And I don't understand this part about it being influenced by Brexit. I don't know what Brexit had to do with it. But yeah, it was the extremists in the Republican Party that kicked him out, and now we're about to panic because there's no Speaker of the House, and we got this new war, and we need to make decisions, and things need to be done that need to be approved by Congress, and Congress can't meet without a speaker. So yeah, it's a mess over here. And even Donald Trump has been nominated to be Speaker of the House.
No way.
Seriously,
No way.
he was definitely nominated, and he said he'd be willing, but I think that later he said he wouldn't. You know how that goes. I don't know.
No.
It's hard to take any of it seriously, but it's happening anyway.
Well,
Gotta laugh to keep from crying about it, I think.
I can't even imagine Donald Trump as Speaker of the House. Cartoon.
Yeah.
But with this one here, I was listening to McCarthy speak today, Was it today or yesterday? No, it was today, this morning, I think. And I would encourage every single one of you to go and find his speech that he said today. Oh my God. It was brilliant. I was captivated. It was brilliant. Yes, you can poke some holes. I get it. Left, right, whatever. But I encourage each and every one of you listeners to go and listen to his speech today. It was brilliant. I was captivated. If I was an American, I would have been raising my flag and just cheering him on right there. And apparently they want to re-vote him in because they're in desperate need of a speaker. And he told them, don't nominate me. So I don't know if that means he doesn't want to, or if it's he just understands something that I don't understand, or maybe you guys understand, but he said, don't nominate me because they want him back in. You know, he was good for that position. He was really good. He was able to stand up for the people's rights. Doesn't matter if they were Republican or Democratic. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. You can say, oh, he was a Trump supporter. Forget about that. He's allowed to support whomever he wants, just like you are. Okay? He didn't use that in the Speaker of the House. He did his job well. But he stood up, because I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Same thing with our Speaker of the House at the same time stood up against the government. Oh, and they don't like that. So they're gone. Both Speakers of the House, Canada and the United States, speaking up against the government, they're out.
Yeah.
So my cat is scratching my chair. Sorry.
So split down the middle here, you know, the left and the right, the conservatives and the liberals, the Republicans and the Democrats. I mean, it's everything is political. Everything is a debate.
Yep.
Everything, no matter what you do or say, you're going to piss half the people off, and half the people are going to be singing praises to you.
That's so true. Well, here's the thing. McCarthy said today, I think, a lot of things that people are thinking and won't say. He, you know, I've talked to a lot of Americans. We've had it on this show here about, you know, the money going to the Ukraine. At first it was fine. Now it's enough. You know, he said a lot of things that I believe American people and people around the world are thinking. He said it and he wasn't afraid. But he said it in a diplomatic way. He said it in a patriotic way. He's for America and America's people. He's not, you know, I don't know. This is just my opinion. Obviously, this is just my opinion, and I'm sure there's holes in it. But I don't know. I don't know. Now they're trying to vote him back in.
Do you think this can have any bearing at all on the Israeli-Hamas war? Do you think it can have any bearing on that? Some people say,
Yeah. What do you mean? Like, why he was removed, or why now they want him back in?
no, like, is it really going to have any kind of influence on what happens in this war?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. One thing I don't understand, I truly don't understand. I think about war, okay? Think about if America was in a war right now. Not helping, you know, sending troops over to our allies. I mean, America in a war. We can't make decisions because we don't have a Speaker of the House. It's almost comical. I get you need to have somebody in the middle to separate the two teams, you know, and whatever, but, you know, send one to their corner and send the other to bed. But there is some crisis going on in the world right now, and people can't make decisions because there's not a Speaker of the House. Like, does that make sense to anybody?
There's a lot of things going on that makes no sense, you know.
But do I think it makes a difference?
A week, I really do. I think we'll have one by the end of the week. I don't know who it'll be, but I think somebody will be.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't understand all this political stuff. But to answer your questions, do I think it'll make a difference? I do think it'll make a difference because Israel is one of America's biggest allies, which you need. We all need our biggest allies. So I think it will make a difference. If it means decision making can only be done, then yes, a Speaker of the House, it's ridiculous that that's a need. But if it is the need, then yeah, it will make a difference because decisions need to be made.
and wonder if some of our enemies around the world think that this is a moment of weakness for the United States and a good time to take advantage.
Absolutely. They're probably laughing their look at the Mickey Mouse government over there. Like I'm sure that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in America thinking, the same thing.
I mean, you got a president of the United States of America. Okay, this is like I said this already. This isn't a president of some corporate company. This is president of the United States of America, who war's breaking out with his biggest ally, and his comment is no comment. It's Columbia Day. I'm not working today. No comment from a president of the United States of America?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of Mickey Mouse government is that? Sorry.
We will see. Do you understand that last part about how the political environment in the United States influenced by Brexit? Do you
No.
understand that part? I don't. I don't
How
understand
is the U.S.
what Brexit has to do with the political environment in the United States.
by Brexit?
Yeah. I don't know.
No. Well, it has to have something to do with Germany. It would have to. Political environment in the U.S. influenced by Brexit, by the election of Trump, influenced by Brexit. No, I really don't.
Yeah.
My own opinion is that there has to be something with Germany, though, because that's where a lot of the interests lie. Like the political interests with the European affairs is in Germany, with the U.S.
Does Germany have more clout than any of the other European nations in the EU? I think they do.
I think so, but
I still don't see how that has an influence on our.
yeah, I don't know what the investments are. I don't know what I don't know. I'm sure it's got something to do with investment. It's got something to do with money.
Yeah, everything does, right?
Yeah. Like in my own, I don't know. I just know that Germany is a big stakeholder in all of the European alliances, and Brexit now. I don't even want to. I'll just talk nonsense now. So I really don't know.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to our next and our last topic here.
We've been saying a lot about this already, right?
Hamas, a vicious and brutal terrorist organization. Well, that guy right there looks kind of menacing, doesn't he? Okay. Hamas is often compared to ISIS in terms of brutality. They have been involved in acts of terrorism for the past 30 years and have a reputation for being a vicious and brutal terrorist organization. In 2018, ISIS even declared war on Hamas. Hamas uses various tactics such as kidnapping, desecrating bodies, and radicalizing citizens to further their cause. They aim to recruit young men as suicide bombers and also spread their ideology through social services, mosques, and schools. They manipulate people's anger and convince them that Israel is the enemy. The propaganda has led to a distorted view where martyrdom is seen as honorable. This environment of indoctrination starts at a young age, as evidenced by the disturbing images of children dressed as military personnel and even suicide bombers. That's just all kinds of evil there, raising kids, teaching kids to be that brutal, and kidnapping, desecrating bodies, and it's horrible enough to do it, but to teach the kids to do it and bring them into it, and they grow up thinking that's normal and their heroes or the terrorists, and
Yeah.
it's nothing good about that.
No.
Nothing at all. What do you think?
Well, I was surprised to see that in 2018, ISIS declared war on Hamas.
I don't remember that, do you?
No, I don't remember that. I was like, really? Okay. That's interesting. Because in my ignorance, I thought they were kind of partners,
They seem to be twins.
but apparently they're not. I know that Hamas came to power, I think, was it like 2007, 2008, maybe?
I don't remember.
I don't, yeah, I know it was somewhere around there.
It started by some Iranian, maybe?
I don't know if they were started by Iran, but they're definitely supported by Iran.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like they've been not just during this war right now, but supporters with financial and influence
Yeah.
and military aid. So yeah, but and some Arab, yeah, they used to help them out too. I think I remember something about yesterday hearing that even those countries that used to support them is telling them to, back off because it's just going to cause a bigger war. But you know what? There's so much propaganda, Steve. There's so much propaganda. We don't even know what to believe anymore. But we do know that they're evil. We do know that they're brutal. And so we're not taking anything away from that.
Yeah. Yeah, like it says in that last paragraph, the propaganda has led to a distorted view where martyrdom is seen as honorable. So that's what's so scary about these suicide bombers, these put a bomb around their body or a hand grenade and go into a crowd and they detonate it and they kill themselves and they think they're going to go off to some eternal reward just for doing that.
It's mind control, right? Like it takes a while and they just hypnotize them, if you will. They brainwash them.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they're just going to go do it for the sake of doing it. There's obviously a greater reward in their minds.
Yeah.
The martyrdom is seen as honorable, as it says, right?
Yeah.
And this is not new. This is not new. We're just seeing it again. We're seeing history repeat itself because we don't learn anything from our history, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, kidnapping, desecrating bodies, radicalizing citizens, recruiting young men and women now too, though. That's the thing. They're not just recruiting men now.
Yeah.
But I wonder, this is probably another thing, but I know the promise that the men think that they get. I don't know the promise of the women.
I don't either. I haven't heard anything about that. Yeah.
I'm going to have to do some studies on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the men are supposed to be rewarded with what, 9 or 10 virgins and something like that in heaven.
Like 70 virgins.
70?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. They're rewarded in heaven with 70 virgins, which is just strange because, I don't even understand that thought process. Is sex that important that you think you can go have 70 virgins now if you want to? You don't have to kill people.
All the women over there, it seems like, for anything. Yeah.
But it's all about the afterlife, right? It's all about the afterlife.
I've read a lot in the Bible, but I've never read about getting 70 virgins in heaven. So,
No.
I read, maybe that's in the Quran. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know what the women get.
Well, maybe they get 70 virgin guys. I don't know.
No, they don't.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's brutal.
Yeah.
And we just got to pray that it stops and it doesn't get any worse. But you know what the Bible says, right? When Israel's going to be at war, but then somebody's going to come along and make peace. And it's that person that comes along to make peace that we have to be wary of, because that person is the deceiver. So,
Yeah.
folks, whether you believe in the biblical terminologies or you believe in the Bible, whatever it is you believe in, you can't say you're not warned because I just told you.
There you go. There you go.
It says
You know,
that
a lot of people are talking about the prophetic, part of this.
Yeah.
And it's easy to see, like you just said, it's so many things that fit right in with prophecy. And
Yeah. So that's why any Christians around the world, we have to keep our eye on Israel.
yeah,
Right?
I've heard that all my life, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, don't be too concerned about wars or rumors or roars, because these things must happen. But keep your eyes on Israel.
Well, it's all over the news nowadays, and we can't not have our eyes on it, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Kim, we've had a good discussion. Thanks for hanging in there with me after everybody else seemed to bail out this evening, but that's okay. I've enjoyed it.
Me too. Thank you very much. But can we just add, I know you had it going across your screen there, and thank you very much for that. But Kentucky Guy, just, for the viewers, just pray for Kentucky Guy.
If you've watched this show much, you know that for a while we had Kentucky Guy with us, and he hadn't been with us for a week or so, and he's found out yesterday he's in ICU, but I don't know the details, but supposedly he's doing better today than he was yesterday, so that's a good sign.
Yes.
Yeah, let's keep praying for Kentucky Guy. I miss him, So hopefully he'll be back with us soon.
Yes. And if you're watching Kentucky Guy, I don't know if you're in the ICU, if you can watch or listen. Yeah, well, we miss you, and we're praying for you.
We're praying for you, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, Kim, you want to do a little plug before we go? What you got going on and what you got coming up?
Sure, thank you. So, Developing Inner Excellence, the website is developingyourinnerexcellence.com. It's under construction right now, but you'll still see the landing page and what I have to offer and do. Public speaking. I'm an international award-winning speaker. And I also teach public speaking to youth and adults. I also am a transformational personal development coach. So internationally certified, trauma-informed is what I specialize in. So if you just want to get out of your stuckness, your mindset, let's chat, see if we're right for one another.
There you go, everybody. She'll fix you.
You're not broken. You don't need fixed.
All right. Well, Kim, good night. It's always good to talk to you, and hope to see you soon. So,
thank you, Steve. Have a great night. Good night
too.
to all your viewers. God bless.
Good night, everybody. Have a great week. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. Good night.